First and foremost, I want to give all honors and praises and glory belongeth to Yahweh by Hisham, Yahweh Shai, by Hasham, Wahavakar Kwadash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and His Son's name is Yahweh Shai. And double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that teach us truth well, and that continue to teach us truth well. Because without them, we wouldn't know what we know. We wouldn't know what we know without them. Okay, so you gotta give respect where respect's due, and it's even more than that. Okay, no, we don't idolize them. Okay, because they're men, but we believe they're holy men. Okay, so we give them double honors, not because you're forced to. Because if you feel like you're forced to, then there's obviously a problem. Okay. But anyways, and shalom to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few brothers and sisters listening and learning. This is going to be a serious lesson, straight to the point. Because when you first wake up to the truth, you may be watching this group, that group, that group. You're still in the world. You still don't understand what the truth is about. This lesson is going to be based on something called apostate. Okay, and heresies. Okay, we're going to get into the definition of these words as well, because when you're making a sacrifice, it has to be the right sacrifice. When you're teaching this word, there's only one doctrine. One. There ain't 50, 60 of it. There's only one doctrine. It's only one truth. And when Yahushua was on the earth, he had what? The truth. He was known as the truth. And he gave it to his disciples. They weren't guessing. Oh, maybe this is the truth. No, it was given unto them. So I want to start on... We're going to start on Proverbs 15 and 8. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord. So part of the sacrifice is what the sacrifice of your lips. What you're saying. Because we go out, we teach these words. Well, some, I can't speak for all. But yeah, it's a sacrifice. So what's the sacrifice you're doing? Because you could be doing the sacrifice, but it could be a wicked sacrifice. It's an abomination to the Lord. So it says the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord. So you've got to make sure what the sacrifice is acceptable. Okay? But the prayer of the upright is his delight. So Yahushua, he delights in the prayer of the upright. And how are they upright? By doing what Yahushua says. Okay, so let's go get straight into these words. Let's start on 1 John. Bear me just a minute, not 1 John. Let's start on Peter's. Okay, heresies, because there's going to be those that come into the truth, and you've seen it many a times. Those that are not grounded, and those that are not grounded in the faith, what ends up happening? One day they wake up and they start teaching something completely different that's not even in the scriptures. Start doing their own thing. Okay? Teaching something that's not even there. Making up their own opinion. Okay? So we're going to get straight to it. This is 1 Peter's chapter 2. But there were false prophets among the people. So the scriptures tell us in these last days there were going to be false prophets. Okay? False. Okay? So if something's false, it's not real. It's not true. It's pretense. It's fraudulent. Okay? There's guile there. And again, you have to be spiritual. Because I understand that IUIC, GOCC, they have different doctrines and so forth, but you were going to get individuals that crept up in Great Millstone somehow, and they started to teach these different doctrines. So it always starts with in-house. Okay? Even as there shall be false teachers among you, so there's false teachers. Okay? There's false teachers teaching something they shouldn't be teaching. Who privily means secretly, shall bring in damnable heresies. You go into that word damnable, it goes into what? Destruction, swift destruction, condemnation. So there's those that have been brought into this truth just to be condemned, just so they can teach another doctrine and be condemned. Okay? And when you go into that word heresies, we're going to get into it soon, and even denying the Lord Yahushua that brought them, and bringing upon themselves swift destruction. Okay, swift destruction. So it's going to come all of a sudden, and it's going to come swiftly. And it says denying the Lord. So what? There's anti-Mashiachs in the truth, claiming to be a follower of Yahushua, but they're not followers. They're against Yahushua. They're against His word. This is why you've got to be circumspect. And we go into that word heresies. Get that word heresies up.
Strong's G141. Heretikas.
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 Heretikas. And when you go into that word, it says on outline biblical usage, fitted or able to take or choose a thing. So these are individuals that will come into the truth, but will not acknowledge the truth, because the truth is already laid down. But you got guys, they want to create the will. They want to create something else that's not there, that's not in the scriptures. So guess what? They choose what? Something that sounds pleasing to their ears, and most of the time, what is it? A seducing spirit, something that's not even true, a fable. So this is what men do. They fitted to able to choose a thing, which goes into what? An opinion. What fits their flesh. This is why you got to be careful of those that are offended at the word. Because what they're going to start bringing in heresies to fit their own agenda, to fit their own purpose. And another word, schismatic. So these are individuals that cause schisms in the body. So if you know someone's a heretic, why is he still in the camp? Why don't you just get rid of him? Why would you still have him around? Schismatic. And the scriptures said there shouldn't be no schisms in the body. Factious. A follower of a false doctrine. Which what? Calls one to what? To be a heretic. Okay? So when we also go into... Just a minute. Now word heresy here, it further breaks it down. And Paul, bear me just a minute. Paul was warning us of this as well. This word also denotes divisions or schisms in the church. A person who follows his own self-willed Christians. So when he comes up with his own things, well, why would the Most High do this? Why would the Most High do this? What do you think of this? You know, that's your interpretation. These are guys with spirits, heavy spirits on them. That's called a heretic. One that believes opposite of what he's been taught of the doctrine. And who is to be avoided. So you're supposed to avoid these individuals that have an opinion. Well, you know, I think this. Well, it's just my opinion. No. You're supposed to avoid an individual like that. That individual's bugged out. And came to signify self-chosen doctrine. So they just make up whatever doctrine. They just make it up. Not emanating from the Most High. So it's not from Yahushua. Let me tell you who that's from. Satan. Satan put that in your mind. You call it in the name Jesus. Satan put that in your mind. And you claim to be in the truth. You're still a Christian. Well, Satan had you, gave you over to that. That's why you want to be in the truth continually. And that's why you want to be sincere. Because when you start scoffing, Yahushua gives you over to that. Okay? You got men calling themselves to being teachers, but they don't even know one thing about the Bible, even the basics. Simple things. So the scripture says what? They shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bringing upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways. Bear me just a minute, Baba Kashar. So we're going to have those in the last days that would what? Follow their pernicious ways. Okay? They wouldn't question it. Because our people don't follow. They don't question it and they don't research. So if you don't research, you're not going to be aware of these spirits. Because you don't research. You don't study anything. Okay? And when you go into that word pernicious, it goes into destruction, waste, just apolio. Quickly go into that with Apollyon.
Strong's G 684. Apollyon.
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 Apollyon. Apollyon. Here we go. Destroying utter destruction. So you have men that have been brought into the truth so they can give heed to seducing spirits, and therefore the Yahushua would be justified in destroying them, and they were going to try to lead others astray. Of vessels. So what's them vessels? What? Men. Okay. Or you can even say women as well, because women also are perishing, a ruin, destruction of money, the destruction which consists of eternal misery in hell, which is not, you should know what hell is. Hell is a condition, and hell is what? The pit, the grave. So yeah, men, this is going to lead men to to a demise, to death. Okay. And once a man, look. Once a man has been given over to that spirit, it's very rare that he will change that. To be woken up to the truth, then you linger onto a seducing spirit, a doctrine that's not true. It's very rare. And destructive thing or opinion. That's why you can't have opinions in this truth. Your opinion don't matter. Who are you? Who are you, man? Your opinion don't matter. And by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. So this is what happens, and guys, they start speaking evil of the truth. You understand what I'm saying? And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. So that destruction is coming. Okay, it's just a matter of time. Okay. So let's go straight to, bear me just a minute. Titus 3. I want to get this in the right order. So we're also going to go to Titus 3. This is serious, because I know some of you may be listening to this for the first time and like, whoa, I've never heard these scriptures. Yeah, these scriptures, this is real. This is what's going on, and you have to be circumspect to know these things. Okay, to be aware. Let's go to Titus 3, and we're gonna go straight to verse 10. You gotta be aware. Let's start on 9. But avoid foolish questions. So if someone's coming to you with foolish questions, you avoid them. Because people do this, to try and get you caught up in a web. And genealogies, okay. Whose line did he come out of, in this line and that line? Okay. And contentions, because these things bring forth contentions and strivings about the law. For they are unprofitable and vain, empty. A man that is a heretic. So this is what you do to a man that's a heretic. Because in the ancient world, heretics would actually be burnt alive. But we can't do that right now. After the first and second admonition, so you're constantly rebuking, warning this individual. It says after the second admonition, warning, reject. So what's a reject? A reprobate. So a heretic is basically a reprobate that comes up with his own teaching. Okay, which Satan gave him. After the second admonition, reject. So you reject him. You don't need to go back and forth with him. Because the individual may say, well, that's your brother. Are you reading what the scriptures say? Are you reading what the scriptures are saying? But he's your brother. But you can't do that. Let's read this again. A man that is a heretic, after the first and second admonition, reject. You leave him alone. You leave him alone. Knowing that he is such as subverted, twisted. Okay, in other words, that word for subvert, twisted. Okay. To go aside, to twist out, to pervert, to invert, to corrupt, to change for the worse. So these are individuals that change for the worse. Okay. And sinneth. Why? Because now he's not in the doctrine. He's outside of the doctrine. Being condemned of himself. So that's how those they end up being condemned. This is how serious this truth is. One may think, does it really matter? Of course it matters. It's the doctrine. Of course it matters. Okay? So you reject a heretic. A man's coming with his own opinions. Okay, that it doesn't want to take heed to what the words are saying. Okay, you got to let him alone, because that destruction is going to come upon him, and it's going to be all of a sudden, eventually. Okay, let's go to John, 1 John 4:1, Babakasha, and I hope this is edifying. That's why there's something called experience, you know. And when you have experience, you're able to what? To see these things. You're able to what? Read spirits. Okay, it's something called discernment. This is 1 John chapter 4. Beloved, believe not every spirit. So this was John the Baptist speaking. He said, don't believe every spirit. Oh, this guy, alright, he says Shalom. He says, Yahweh Shemi Al Brakatah. No, don't believe every spirit, but try the spirit. So you're supposed to try. Try means test, dokimos, whether they are of the Most High. Okay, so when you're watching videos, when you're among brethren, when you're listening to videos, what you're doing is trying the spirit. Okay, you're not looking on the outward, you're trying the spirit. What's this individual speaking about? Is he mentioning Yahweh Shai? Is he teaching the doctrine right? Whether they are of the Most High. So what are you trying to see? What are you looking at? If this spirit is of the Most High. So when individuals say, oh, we don't know who the elect is, but there's signs and indications by what they're teaching. Because many false prophets have gone out into the world. So there's many false prophets that have gone out into the world. Many. Okay, so if they're false prophets, that means what? Yahweh Shai ain't dealing with them. Satan's dealing with them. Hereby now we know the spirit of the Most High. Every spirit that confesseth that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is come in the flesh is of the Most High, and every spirit that confesseth not that Yahweh Shai is come in the flesh is not of the Most High, and that is that spirit of the anti-Mashiach, wherever you have heard that it shall come, and even now already it is in the world. It's already here. Okay, and that's why that's for you to use your discernment. And a heretic is an anti-Mashiach because he doesn't believe in the record. He doesn't believe in the truth. He's coming up with his own foundation. Okay, he swayed from the church, which your body is a church, while calling out a gathering. So the moment you sway from that, that's it. You become a heretic. Okay, and therefore what you bring destruction upon yourself. So with this lesson, I hope this was edifying. And on to the next. Bear me just a minute. One more thing. Jeremiah, what does it say in Jeremiah 17? I missed this out at 9. It says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. So, knowing that the heart is deceitful above all things, it's not a thing where you could just rely on your emotions and your opinions on what you think in the flesh. And desperately wicked, who can know it? So if the mind is desperately wicked, okay, and who can know it, okay, then wouldn't you want to trust in the scriptures, trust in the Lord? Because men that don't do that, they tend to be very carnal. Okay, very carnal. Okay, so with this lesson, I hope this was edifying, and until the next time, Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.